up, virtual people? Welcome to a very special Fandom Spotlight panel on Warner Brothers' newly released Space Jam 2. I'm your moderator, pop culture punk Chris Stiles, joined by my co-host with the most and big-time animation writer, Yali Perez.
Hi, everybody. I'm here to say good things, unlike what I said in the Loki panel previously. So if you're looking for positivity, this is the panel for you.
Also joining us tonight, the Slayer of Six Strings, Rick Barth and the line guitarist, Mickey Torres is on the show.
What's up, everyone?
And co-host of the Ether podcast, available on Apple and Spotify and all those podcasty places, Matt Porter is on the show tonight.
Hey. Checking in. How are you, everybody?
Cool. Glad to be talking with all of you about Space Jam 2, which is why we're here, and to talk about how Space Jam 2 came into our lives and made us feel certain kinds of ways. Before we get into Space Jam 2, I guess we got to start with how this house was built. Space Jam 1, obviously, being the foundation here. So how did Space Jam 1 come into your guys' lives? We talking VHS, cable, rental, theaters?
Yeah, I saw it in the movie theater. What was that, 95?
94.
Off the top, 94?
I want to say 97. I think you guys are both wrong. But...
No. I looked it up. It was 94.
You sounded confident. You sounded confident.
I'm looking it up right now because I know it wasn't 94 because he was still playing baseball in 94.
In the movie, he was playing baseball.
Yeah, but okay.
The movie was the promo for the baseball.
You see?
During Google, I hate when you're trying to search for Space Jam and not Pace Jam.
What a autocorrect.
Yeah, right. 96. Okay.
96.
I said 97.
You saw it in the theater in 96.
What came out in 94?
The Crow.
Yeah. What did come out in 94, right?
Interview with a Vampire.
I don't know. I graduated in 94, so.
I think Blood In, Blood Out came out close to 94. I was just watching that last night. But we're here to talk about Space Jam. So, Space Jam in the theaters. I also saw it in the theaters. I had a rocking good time. I mean, that was 83 minutes, and it was brisk, and it was more of a Looney Tunes movie that featured Michael Jordan than it was like a Michael Jordan movie, if that made sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Because there is no such thing as a Michael Jordan movie. I feel like, and we'll get into this, but it's one of the things I think that is sort of differentiates the two Space Jam films. But I don't know, Mickey, Yali, how did you guys first dive into the Space Jam universe?
I saw it on a bootleg.
Shame.
Because I had parents who were teens who were poor. And so we got our entertainment the way we could afford it at a bootleg from a Chinese store.
No shame in the bootleg game.
No shame at all.
The shaky cam bootleg.
It was, you know what? It was a little bit shaky game. I'm not going to lie. But for the most part, the quality was good. And I could hear the Space Jam music. And that's really where I was like, all right, that's good. It's good enough for me. But I remember watching it with my brother and my cousin and just being like, what is this? Like, there's Michael Jordan. Like, my brothers were more into basketball than I was. I was more of a football fan. But they were just like, oh, it's Michael Jordan. Next, like, he's playing golf and then he gets sucked down a hole. And then, like, there's then he's in Looney Tune land. I'm just like, what the fuck is this stuff we're watching? And by the time Seal came on, I was like, oh, this is it. I'm hooked. I'm all the way hooked. When he hit him with the Fly Like an Eagle, I was like, this is my movie. The best movie of all time.
Yeah, that soundtrack.
That soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah. That's hard to beat. That's
especially the one song from He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Oh yeah, we can't talk about it.
It's such a great song.
To think
great song. But we can't talk about it.
I often rant about how movies don't really have contemporary soundtracks anymore. Space Jam is one of the last ones. True. Like the 90s was like the graveyard of like contemporary pop soundtracks and movies. And like when the 90s was over, like every movie went the Guardians of the Galaxy route. And like, we're just gonna throw old classics in here,
That was a great movie, technically a movie soundtrack as well. I have that actually. Was that Awesome Mix Volume 1?
Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh yeah, it's a great soundtrack.
I would say that The Crow has the better movie soundtrack next to Space Jam.
The original Crow.
The original Crow absolutely has an amazing soundtrack. Just
that was
separate
a game,
from the film.
That was a game breaker.
R.I.P. Brandon Lee. R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Exactly. Absolutely. Also,
I should mention also that there is already some action in the chat. And for those of you watching at home, we want to hear your Space Jam stories as well. How did you first see Space Jam? Theaters, cable, rental, VHS, pay-per-view? How did it happen
from a Chinese store?
Anyone out there saw it on
Laserdisc? Just
make yourselves heard. There is Angie Saunders says hello, y'all. Very glad you tuned in, Angie. Thank you so much. Angie, much like myself, makes some really cool movie poster mashups and a lot of Cobra Kai stuff. Be sure to check her out. And from Kyle, actually, some talking chat already. Amazing how unconcerned Michael's friends Bill Murray and Larry Bird were after Michael was sucked down a hole. That is true. Bill Murray was pivoted straight to I can get in the NBA now. There's one roster spot open and I think I can fill it because I'm Bill Murray. Why not?
And Larry Bird was just I'm retired. I don't care.
Larry Bird was just this is a strange golf course. Let's go home.
Exactly.
But that was about the extent of Larry Bird's acting abilities, I think.
That dug the hole. That was his lawyer.
Oh yeah, Newman, right?
Newman from Seinfeld. Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, the lawyer.
Michael, I'm coming.
Of course, the lawyer.
The lawyer, or the assistant, or he's just that guy. He's just always that guy.
Yeah.
You know, even in Jurassic Park, he's that guy.
The worst guy in Jurassic Park.
I was just about to say he was a douche in Jurassic Park.
But he's still that guy. He's a douche, but he's that guy version of douche.
Yeah, I saw Space Jam in the theaters. And that's
in 94.
In 94.
Mickey had the fucking time stone.
That's what I remember.
3 years before everybody else.
That's what I remember, 94. So, but anyway, I liked it. I liked it enough. I mean, it was, I was more into the soundtrack. Quad City DJs, there was so many tracks on there that I was like, it was like jock jams.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
I think it is, the part of the legacy of the original Space Jam for me is it's one of those perfect time capsule movies. You put that on and you're back in 1996. For Mickey, it's 94, but for everybody else, you're back in 1996.
It'll be 94 to me.
It's I Believe I Can Fly is big on the radio again. You remember maybe your school choir singing that?
Every kindergarten graduation,
all of them
was that song.
All of them.
I believe it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't doubt it. I wasn't around kindergarten graduations at that point. I had finally graduated from kindergarten and matriculated, but even in middle school, the junior high glee club was singing that shit in the lunchroom when I was trying to throw curly fries at them.
How would you waste fries?
The curly fries weren't that good, and I don't know. We
school ain't the place you want to get curly fries.
I was poor. I wanted the curly fries.
Oh man, there is actually shout out to Jordan R. Eris in the chat.
That's my brother.
Oh, that's your brother? Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in, Jordan. Great name, by the way, for being a Space Jam man. He says he saw it VHS in kindergarten class. What an epic way to enter grade school. This VHS kindergarten Space Jam. That's outstanding. I was, like I said, I'd finally graduated kindergarten after it only took me 3 tries. No, but it's you go back and obviously growing up in Chicago as I did, Jordan was an icon. He was a god. He was Jesus. He was everything. So it's amazing that I feel like it's harder for someone to be that popular nowadays than maybe it was then. Michael was a sort of the first super athlete, if that makes sense. This athlete on a world stage that people in France love Michael Jordan, people in South America love Michael Jordan, people in Asia love Michael Jordan, people all over the world knew who Michael Jordan was. And that's wild. That has happened now with LeBron, but he's the only guy to have been able to do that since, really.
Yeah, he definitely he blended athlete with celebrity, because it was 2 separate worlds back then. It's you played sports or you were an actor, and he definitely meshed that for sure.
So speaking of being an actor, should anyone fire the first shot? Is any it should be said that Michael Jordan is not the greatest actor that has ever walked the face of the earth.
Very true.
I don't think that he was acting. I think he was generally confused about what was going on the entire time. And that is just him naturally reacting.
Which
is the acting is reacting. That's what they say.
And he was just like, there's a bunny here?
Right.
It's talking to me. Okay.
If you look at his commercials, though, when he is acting with other people, like the only commercial I remember his acting seemed kind of natural was the ones with Larry Bird, where they're like off the backboard, over the bleachers.
Oh yeah,
you know, off the horse game where it's just like epic their shots. Other than that, his acting was never that great in anything else that I can really remember.
Like the one with his mom. That's cringy. It's such a good commercial, but
like God, I forgot about that.
His mom dunked and it was like a terrible stunt double. Like did the dunk.
Wow,
it's like Larry Johnson in a
for
wig.
him to not have good chemistry with his own mother really says a lot about his skills.
Right.
Yeah.
Like she gave birth to you. You should be killing this right now.
And to be fair, asking even an accomplished actor to get in a green screen room and pretend that this guy in green spandex is Bugs Bunny and that guy with green spandex is Daffy, all these characters, that's tough to ask like a regular actor to do, like an accomplished actor even. I think Liam Neeson said he hated doing it in Star Wars, that it was hell. He's like, I'm acting against a tennis ball. I don't know what's what. Like, they tell me it's Jar Jar Binks, and I don't know what that means.
Allegedly. And that's why they got like those they're building those like $1 billion like kind of studios like for the Star Wars franchise and stuff like that, where it's basically like a surround those screen or whatever like that, where you
with the Unreal Engine, like with Mandalorian.
Those sets are awesome.
Where you could, so you're not acting to a green screen anymore. Like you could literally see like the planet or the whatever like you're supposed to be seeing.
It's cool. It's an interesting new toy for like Hollywood to play with, and I'm glad that at least they're doing things from like a photographic standpoint, because you get it all in the lens. But that obviously has its, if you mess it up, then you can't really go back and fix it. I thought that for sure, as opposed to that, it would be the opposite. It was like we're getting less things in the lens, like I thought light path photography would take shape. So that you can literally just be like, everything past 6 feet, wipe out, and we can green screen any shot anywhere, even with moving stuff in the background. Anyway, we're getting a little bit off topic.
Going back
was
to
kind of a
Super 8 cameras.
Yeah, Space Jam was a little bit of a leap forward, I guess, VFX wise. I guess some credit should go there. It's not as well done as Roger Rabbit. And movies like that.
I love that movie.
Roger Rabbit is a masterpiece, but Space Jam was, I guess, again, very much a time capsule. You took Roger Rabbit and you made it a little more mid-90s, and you have Michael Jordan and half the cast of Roger Rabbit, because you'll never get Mickey and Bugs in the same shot ever again.
Right, one and done.
One and done, absolutely. But so Space Jam came and it kind of like went, and it sort of aged in a certain way, I feel like. And eventually people were like, oh, it's that laughable 90s movie. Oh, remember that ridiculous 90s movie? Oh, Space Jam. And apparently there's a plethora of sequels that almost got made over the years. One of which I guess was Tony Hawk's Skate Jam.
Wow.
I kind of feel like, damn, I would have seen Skate Jam like at any age. I would still see it now.
What would the conflict have been?
There's like some super corporation that's gonna tear down a skate park, and the only way for them to not is for Tony to win the skating thing with the help of like Bugs and them. And then,
so Brink with Bugs Bunny.
Bunny. Exactly. Exactly.
Take my money with a little sprig of Airborne in there.
Yes.
Chris, we're best friends now. Yes. No one remembers Airborne, and I love.
I do.
Yali will get the reference. So in Philly, there's a road in my area called Lincoln Drive, and I always feel like I'm on Devil's Backbone when I'm driving on Lincoln Drive. Such a great movie.
Oh my God!
Let her make up her own mind, Jack.
Blaine. Shout out to Blaine for low key being one of the best villains of the 90s. The competition wasn't that fierce.
Such a punchable face.
Oh, what?
With that awesome, and then let's not forget that awesome Joey Lawrence track on there.
That was Joey
Lawrence
Lawrence.
track?
Oh my god!
What?
The
Oh my
triple
God!
threat
Nikki,
that he
only you would
was.
do this.
The
I
triple
love it.
threat that
I
he
love
was.
that track. There's nothing my love can't fix for you, baby.
The
I
Lawrence,
know that
the
was
Lawrence
Joey
brothers
Lawrence.
don't get their flowers. They don't get their
don't.
flowers.
I know.
don't.
I know.
They
You
were
know?
the Jonas Brothers before the Jonas Brothers. Like, let's be very honest. Like,
Yeah.
they did
Mhm.
everything.
What was the show they used to Brotherly Love? Remember they used to come
Yup.
on Disney Channel?
Yep.
That's a great show.
This-
So now
And
it's
that
no
was
longer Space Jam,
also-
but Millennial Jam, the live panel.
Also, yes, and also there was going to be a Lawrence Jam with all the Lawrence brothers. No,
I'd have signed up for that.
I would do. There's a lot of jam movies I would watch. I would do, yeah. Okay, so instead of what I would do, there's some talk in the chat. Some more. Angie Saunders says it was VHS. Jordan says the soundtrack was amazing. Affirming our sentiment. And Angie is a little bit in defense of Michael Jordan here with the fact that he did Spain's commercials.
yes.
How can we
He did
forget?
look, he
Of
did
course.
look comfy. He did sell that.
Acting masterclass. The commercials.
The best commercials for me were like the Spike Lee ones, and like the ones where Spike Lee's doing the acting, or it's got to be the shoes. It's got to be
those are
the
great
shoes. Yeah.
Yeah, is it the jersey?
Mars.
Is it the shoe?
Just the voice of God enjoys Haynes.
Not a Fruit of the Loom man by any stretch of the imagination, but the Gatorade commercial, that was like the one. I want to be like Mike. Wish I could sing.
Mike commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was a classic.
90s. What a great time. So you fast forward to today, and after years and years of failing to produce a sequel to Space Jam, it seems like inevitable. It seems like one of those things the public just demanded would happen. Like, I feel like I've been hearing LeBron and Space Jam 2 since like the Miami Heat days.
That was definitely.
Did they really demand it? Did the public demand it?
It was a suggestion. It was a suggestion.
Maybe
it's the same way Coming to America 2 came. Like, people just kept saying, like, we're getting a second one, we're getting the second one, we're getting the second one, we're getting for like 10 years in a row. And finally Amazon was like, fine, we'll fucking make it. You know what I mean?
The buzz for that movie fizzled out so fast. Well, it was like one strong week. Nothing.
It's the issue that you have with streaming, and
Yeah, very true.
Yeah, it is hard to make things feel very special. Although I usually say that I am more forgiving of movies when I watch them at home and I can pause and relax and go to the bathroom, get something to eat, grab a drink of water. But I don't know. I don't know if that helped or hurt in this case with Space Jam 2. I mean, we all watched it. So I guess we should talk about our anticipation level going into it. Even though I'm from Chicago and LeBron's broken my Bulls fan heart a million times, I was really hyped for this movie. I was like, okay, LeBron was great in Trainwreck, first of all.
What's amazing.
He's like funny. He's more of an actor than like Hulk Hogan or I always use Hulk Hogan and Michael Jordan in the same breath of like superstars that just couldn't act their way out of a paper bag. But LeBron doesn't have that problem. He can
Hogan
act.
was fine. Hogan was fine.
I would know.
He wasn't great, but he was fine.
What was wasn't he in like 3 Ninjas 16? Like when when he was at the amusement park.
When the 3 Ninjas were over 45, they were finally old enough to fight Hulk Hogan. It was like 3 Ninjas retirement park.
That's exactly what that was.
3 Ninjas at Garden Grove retirement.
I don't even think it was the same 3 kids. Like,
no.
like one of them might have been the same.
It's probably
like Menudo. They just keep
probably was.
kids out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh well.
but anyway, so I'm thinking this movie's going to be fantastic, because why would they even dare to try if they didn't have an ace, something awesome up their sleeve? Like, I feel like it's going to be great. Let's be honest. Like, Michael Jordan's not a great actor. The original movie, we love it, but we kind of love it for being so bad and cheesy in a lot of ways too. So maybe I got overhyped. That happens. I don't know. Were you guys very hyped going into Space Jam 2? Medium hype?
I was actually I'm gonna say medium hype because I really love the original one, but I have more love for it because I really enjoyed the soundtrack. So my thing was like, if the soundtrack for this film isn't as good, then that knocks points off the film for me personally.
So you hated the film, in other words.
No, I actually love the soundtrack for this one.
Did you really?
I really did. I really did.
That Kurt Franklin, the little baby song is that's popping. I like that song.
They had a lot. I actually really liked it. I was very surprised how much I liked the soundtrack. So I had medium hype for it because a lot of my feelings about the film would be tied to the music. So I was like, once the music kind of started happening with the film, then I felt like, okay, now I can better judge it. But I was medium excited. Like, I own Space Jam shirts and, Toon Squad stuff, and my son wears Toon Squad stuff. So it's like, it's still a part of my everyday life. So I'm like, no matter what, I'm going to watch it because it demands my respect and my attention to watch this film and curse out anyone younger than me who says anything bad about this film because this wasn't for you. Just so you know.
Nah,
so I was medium hype. I wouldn't say like, whoa, Space Jam, but I was there.
it was like, I'm with you. It was definitely for us. Like, I'm with you on that. Like, anybody who wasn't there for the original, we can judge this.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all can't judge this. But when it was announced, like Chris was saying, I feel like it definitely was like a thing back in like 2014, or like where they like, not like, oh, we're thinking about it. There's like LeBron James is going to be in the new Space Jam. And at that moment, I was like, this is the best thing ever. In the past 10 years that it took them to make this movie, like when I started seeing like the new uniforms and everything, even more excited. But then like that first trailer, I was like, oh no.
Maybe the trailer even got me hyped.
I don't think I was hyped. I mean, even when I watched the trailer, the trailer was just like, it was what it was. But I mean, it was like, when I heard about Space Jam 2, I was like, oh, that's cool. I could watch that, whatever. But I wasn't like, but wait, pump the brakes here. It's not going to be great. Like, to me, it's like, I'm like, it's, let me just walk into this, I'll get it out of the way. I wouldn't have paid for this. Oh, I'm telling you right now, I would not have paid for this.
That's a strong statement.
I watched it on HBO Max, obviously, so I do pay for HBO Max. But
in the long run, you pay.
In the long run, I paid for it. But if somebody said like, if this exclusively came out in the theaters, I don't know if I would have paid for it. But
First
maybe
shot has been fired.
Maybe I would have on a Sunday. Sunday,
with the cheap tickets. I feel like
$8.
I would have paid for it out of obligation, but I wouldn't have take my money. Yeah.
Now again, like the trailer, like added to my hype. And just before the trailer, I think they released like that tidbit that like, oh, LeBron doesn't just go to the Toonverse, he goes through the whole Warner Brothers movie verse. And I'm like, oh, that's incredible. Like this is like Last Action Hero. Like this is everything I want. Basketball and Last Action Hero and movie universes like colliding. Like, yes, take my money. And then I saw the movie. And
we about to get into it.
We're about to get into it. Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
I mean, look at the opening. Like, I mean, compare. Like, we'll start with the beginnings of the film, right? We open in the original Space Jam. We just see Michael Jordan playing golf. Like, that's not that much of a stretch of the imagination. They do show you Michael Jordan living in like a very normal looking house, and you're like, Michael Jordan doesn't live in that fucking house. Like, no way. Right? So there's a little bit
2-bedroom, 1 bath. Like, get out of here.
There's a little bit of like, okay,
something's not right here.
Better
put some more CGI on that house.
And there's like a little bit of bullshittery out the gate this time too. I feel like LeBron's with his sons, his 2 sons that aren't Matt, and he has his automatic ball, machine, which I guess is a thing that is not very practical, but makes for a good gag when someone says meatball and gets hit in the face.
All that literally just to set up that one part.
Exactly. That's all there just for that. And yeah, I don't know, this whole conflict, everything between these 4 lines is work. You got to put in the, like, I don't know if he's, okay, all right, I don't know. I'm starting to get a little nervous, right?
Yeah.
Then we cut to Don Cheadle. Then I start to get really nervous because I'm like,
Algae.
all right, Don Cheadle's not gonna let me down. Like, I love him. I've loved him since Boogie Nights. Here we are. Let's do this. And
But
I'm like, what?
He already admitted this was just a cash grab. Like before,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he basically it was just basically like somebody asked him about it. He was just like,
why not?
It's the money. It was like,
why not?
When I really started thinking about it, like in the first one, obviously they had the cartoon voice of Danny DeVito, I think it was, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah.
And Danny DeVito's, does comedy, so that's an obvious thing. I started really thinking about it with this. I'm like, man, Cheadle's not very good at comedy, is he? Like, I love Don Cheadle as a dramatic actor, but like even those lines he has in like the Avengers movies that are like good lines, but it's just like him delivering them, something about them doesn't make me laugh. Where he's like, "What up, regular size man?" I'm like, "That's a good line."
That was a forced scene.
Yeah, and I'm like, "Shit, Terrence Howard would have crushed that line."
Yo, I always think of like what would have been. I don't know if I could have took like Infinity War seriously with Terrence Howard in there.
Oh, dude, how can you not? Terrence Howard is the best.
He said, "We got to get them stones, man."
After the last episode of Loki, they can bring Howard back.
They can.
The multiverse is the whole fucking thing now.
Sure
They could.
They can bring anything back.
Anything
at this point.
Come on,
Terrence.
Cheadle, throw Terrence Howard a bone. You got that Space Jam 2 money.
Exactly.
Oh god.
Well, I think I felt, Chris, I think we're in the same boat. I mean, like, I'll be honest, I had to watch this movie twice.
Me
and
too.
the reason why is because I fell asleep. I literally, like, the first hour sucks. This is horrible. And it only gets good to the last hour when they're actually the game and everything else like that. The last hour I enjoyed. I was like, this is cool. I enjoyed it. The first half, I'm sitting there going like, this is horrible. This is absolutely like I fell asleep. I literally I woke up and I'm sitting there like, what am I watching? And I'm like, oh yeah, Space Jam 2. I'm like, I can't do this today.
Maybe tomorrow.
I had to take another day. I really feel like this movie, like you said, like this movie was made for us. I feel like this movie was made to sell toys, shirts, nostalgia, and that's it. Like it was not made to make a good movie. To me, it's just like it was made like, listen, we need the toys, we need the soundtrack, we need the shirts, we need the little kids rocking the toys and rocking the soundtrack because that's what's for them. We'll give a little bit to the 90s crowd. And but like we want the kids rocking the gear for a possible Space Jam 3. So like that's like the reality. They're just building it up for that. But I do like the second half when they finally got to the game, when they finally got to the WV, universe and everything else like that. That was kind of cool. There's some cool cameos there. The Herculoids. Come on. The Herculoids, for me, that was it. I was like, oh man, you put the Herculoids in here? I'm good. Well, and then you had the touchy feely moments. So I don't know. But all in all, I mean, like if I'm rating it out of 4 stars, I'm giving this a 2.
You're a generous man.
I gave it a 2. Then? I gave it a 2. Gave it a 2 just for the last part.
Should I go last?
Yeah, no, but
was
saying like about even take it before that. Like when I think of like the beginning is like the original Space Jam, that was like one of the best parts of the movie. Like with him out in the yard shooting the basket and like trying to dunk and all that. Like that was great. But like the start of this Space Jam, like when he had the conversation with the coach, he was like, yo, you got to, prioritize basketball. I was like, you didn't have to throw the video game out.
Exactly.
Just don't play it at practice. Like, you don't have to throw it out. And then it's like, and this is just me because I'm like, so I went to like acting school. So I'm like super anal with a lot of stuff. It totally threw me out of the movie early in the game. So with Space Jam 1, Michael Jordan's family wasn't really in the public spotlight. So it was cool to cast actors to play his kids and his wife. But LeBron James's family are very well known. And you start off this whole montage depicting his real life, and then some new kids and the wife from Walking Dead shows up. And I was like, that's not Savannah. It totally threw me off. Because he could have easily, and I don't know if he would have wanted to, but like he could have easily put both his kids in this movie, who both play sports, one of which is signed to like a professional video game team. So it's like art was imitating life, but you could have just get your family, like, or don't show us like your real true life story, and then introduce us to some actors. It like totally like threw me off.
That's a good point. Yeah, and it just that kind of failed to make a connection. And it started kind of around that point where, for me, I felt like everything in the movie was just like a beat and a half late. You know, it was just a little bit slow. It just took a little bit too long to get to all the things that needed to happen. Took a little too long to get Don Cheadle to have motivation to run amok, to have LeBron like take his kid to the Warner Brothers pitch meeting, to which was the first time I started to get kind of excited in the movie. I was like, oh, cool, he's taking his kid to Warner Brothers. That's like unbelievable, not believable, but it should be fun. And then that pitch, everything's just kind of getting too slow. Then they're building the team. That's taking too long. They're going through the movie universes and spending too much time talking about characters and invoking things that we're not getting in the, like talking about Superman. I'm like, fuck me. They're going to put Superman in this movie. This is going to be awesome. And then no, it doesn't happen. You just get some Batman villains kind of like out of focus in the crowds later.
I did like the twist from this movie that they made LeBron a cartoon, where they didn't do that with Jordan in the original. I did like the little twist, and then eventually they became real, but
I probably would have cut that out, honestly, to try and speed up the pace of the movie. I probably would have just had him be there, show up, and like, all right, let's do this. Let's, like the original one, like it's like 83 minutes or something. It knew what it was. It was
quick.
Like,
so fast.
Let's get him on the court. Let's get him on the court.
Oh my God.
I hate to say it, but this got to be.
I think I'm the only one who liked it then.
Yali, you may be the lone wolf today.
I walked into it very skeptically. I agreed the beginning was like, I don't give a shit about what this Game Boy thing. I don't care. You're mean to your kids. Like, dude, that's not really, I'm not interested in that. Like, and then I like, as soon as they got into like the digitalized world, for me is when I started to enjoy it. I liked it. I really enjoyed Don Cheadle's chemistry with Pete. Like Pete was the cutest thing to me. Like any interaction between them two was funny. Like he was like even telling Pete like enunciate your words. How many times I have to tell you about that? Like that to me was like really hilarious. I'm like, and then for him to have like this face of like I'm doing my best. Like what do you want from me? Like I thought it was really really cute. I thought it was fun. I laughed more than I thought I was going to. I really enjoyed them going to the other worlds and seeing what the other characters were doing, because once Bug said like they left, I'm like, well, what they've been doing this whole time, and seeing that Daffy became like a menace to fucking society and just was ruining the DC universe, and obviously they let him because there wasn't no immediate reaction to like go and stop what the hell is going on. So I was like, that's hilarious. And then Superman shows up and they were like, well, now Superman can't be on the team because they just got kicked out of DC, and like them going to, and then LeBron James was like, oh, I always knew I was a Hufflepuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense to me. He would be a Hufflepuff. That kind of sounds right to me. I thought it was real. There are a lot of moments that are like reminded me of the original one, just like very quick, funny little things that are supposed to make you chuckle or make you smile. And so that's something that I really enjoyed about it. I don't really get Algie's plan, because if the point of the plan was to basically like get a digitized copy of LeBron James and put him in a bunch of things, you already did it. You've got him in there. He's in there. You copied him. At one point, Don Cheadle changes into LeBron. I was like, well, the plan has succeeded. You're done. Everyone could go home, right? But that's the movie has the movie, so that never happened. But I at that point, I saw the film as not really like a LeBron's movie, but like a Bugs Bunny movie about like being like a type of franchise that people forgotten about, that's not really relevant, you know what I mean? Feeling alone and not in the spotlight. And so like that's how I kind of saw the film. Like kids today care about Paw Patrol and the Bubble Guppies and Coco Melon and whatever the hell they got going on now. And do these kids care about Bugs Bunny and Daffy and Porky? And like that's kind of what I got out of it. When they were doing the whole like getting the team back together thing. I really enjoyed the basketball scenes. I thought that those were really fun. I love that they brought in like Jabberjaw and the nun from the Devils. So like, why the fuck is she there? But I don't care. I love the Devils. And Scooby-Doo, and it's the Animaniacs come in at some point, and Rick and Morty was there. I was like,
that was awesome.
It was like such like a fan service thing. It's like, look at all the things from your childhood. They're right there. I was like, oh.
It's funny. My mind started. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I know. I was gonna say the one thing that I despise was the Michael Jordan cameo.
Oh my
God!
I know it was coming.
No, he's not. No, he's not. They're all hyping it up. I can smell him. I can hear the shoes. I'm like, no. And then it's this Michael B. Jordan. I says, God damn it.
I knew it too. I knew it was gonna happen. I could see that from a mile away. It's gonna be Michael B. Jordan.
They telegraphed that joke.
For what?
But him saying I was going to get popcorn and this cat grabbed me, that was funny. He was like, I don't know what's going on.
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad at Michael B. Jordan. There's a guy that can do absolutely no fucking wrong in this world. I love Michael B. Jordan. Almost, probably, maybe even more so than, at this point in time.
Fahrenheit 411.
Fantastic Four.
That movie was
Michael
terrible.
James
Rainbow
Jordan.
Six movies.
Michael James Jordan has committed more sins than Michael B. Jordan.
There was like, you couldn't get Michael A. Jordan, you got Michael B. Jordan. I'm like, wait, who the fuck is Michael A. Jordan?
I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
I was like, his middle name is definitely Jeffrey.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Jeffrey. Not
for a second, I did the same thing. I'm like, wait, is his middle name?
And me questioning like I didn't know. I was like, who? Michael A. What?
Michael A. Jordan.
I still thought the movie was in '94, so I don't.
But overall, I liked it. I would watch it again. And I think I would have paid to go and see it just because for nostalgia reasons. Like I would have had my kid just in the Toon Squad thing with the sneakers, and we would have just been in there making it a movement, making it an event. And like I said, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I was surprised because some of those artists are not artists that I'm really familiar with. They're like Mickey said, there are people my kid listens to. So it's like, oh, this is what you listen to. Oh, these are nice. I like it. So I enjoyed the soundtrack. It's not as good as just like, welcome to the Space Jam. But I thought it was pretty good as far as a soundtrack and as a movie. And I would buy it on DVD or like Blu-ray just so I can have, say when I have something that wasn't bootleg. You know what I mean? Like I purchased the Space Jam that wasn't illegal. And
well, by now you should have the original.
Oh my gosh.
She said that Chinese store closed.
Yeah. And I moved out of the hood. So
there's plenty of Dominican shops. There are plenty of Dominican shops that have those.
Dominicans don't be selling that stuff no more.
Well, there's like we all DVDs.
They just got stamps. That's it. You want stamps or a day pass? That's all we offer.
Well, Yali, you did bring up a really good point, and Chris, you kind of touched on it too. Is like Algie's motivation wasn't very clear. Like at that pitch meeting, like after he like insulted him, he's like, oh, now it's about revenge. But like that original, oh yeah, we got to get LeBron on the team, was like, why? Like
I kind of forgot. I kind of forgot what the whole thing was.
Exactly.
At the end, I'm sitting there going like, what's this about? I'm like, I don't really care because I know the end result. So I'm like,
it's all very vague. It's like he gets his son back if he beats his son. So then why, when his son just throw the game, his son wants to beat the dad because
but he manipulated him because his dad wasn't a nice dad, and but I was like, right. So the point is, he needs digital LeBron so that we can make the Warner 3000 thing and put him in like Mr. Freeze and all that shit. I was like, but we just did it. You just digitized him. Can't we send him? We can't send him home. Like that's it. That's all you needed. Like.
And why didn't the son have better gear? Like when he upgraded himself, why is he still in a hoodie?
I found that to be very strange. Yeah,
he's very hot.
3 shirts under his jersey.
Yeah,
and they were leather shirts at that. Like,
he wore a hoodie the entire movie. The entire movie, the kid had a hoodie. I'm like, if you're just upgrading, like, why can't you just like, get yourself some new threads, whatever, whatever, make yourself bigger.
I feel like that's like if George Costanza worked for the Knicks instead of the Yankees, would have been like, hey, how about the leather basketball jerseys?
Who's wearing that one?
Oh my God. Yeah.
But even the point, Yali again made another point. I don't even think you realize you made it. Even the point of like Algie trying to turn LeBron's son against him. Like the first words they shared with each other on the court were like friendly. He's like, "Oh, it's fun, Dad." I was like, I thought you were mad at him.
Exactly.
Like, I thought, where's the conflict? It was so confusing.
But then he turned and like he's like, oh yeah, my dad's not cool, whatever it used to be. It's like, and dad's like, yo, like for 1 second, if the kid really thought for 1 second, like, wait a second, all these people are here. How'd they get here? Number one. Number two, it's like my family's here, but I can't talk to them. Or like I can't, like, you know, I'm like, don't you understand that this whole thing is like messed up? Like, wouldn't you at some point be like, what's going on here? I'm like,
can we mention how they didn't follow their own rules about how they couldn't hear the crowd? Because when the mom was trying to talk to him, it's like he can't hear you. But when the older son, he's like, use the power up, Dad. He definitely heard him say that.
LeBron could hear him, and they could hear LeBron, but they couldn't hear the son.
Yeah, because reasons. Because that's dumb ball. It's dumb ball. It's not basketball. It's better.
Yali, what'd you say? The movie's going movie.
It's going movie, but my thing is the rules were so arbitrary and like, okay, so they're losing the first half, which is the most obvious thing, right?
By 1,000 points.
They can't win the first half. Why couldn't at one point, like during the second half, they go in the audience and they go like, yo, Scooby, get in here, and Iron Giant, you get in here too, and Michael B. Jordan, we might as well just go ahead, like.
They couldn't get past the force field. They couldn't get past the force field.
But how did Michael B. Jordan get grabbed by the cat
into the locker
popcorn?
room?
There was somebody who was selling popcorn.
That's right.
That's right. Who was selling the popcorn that Michael, like, it was zany as hell. Why can't we just keep breaking the rules? If the movie's just gonna keep breaking them for reasons,
I did like
break them all the way
announcers
out.
too. The
announcers were hilarious.
Oh yeah, Ernie Johnson.
They were hilarious.
Yeah,
I would have just been like, look, I love you guys. I really enjoy the team bonding thing we're doing, but I'm gonna go grab some better players, and I hope you don't take it personally. You know what I mean? Like,
so that's where it fails. Like if you're targeting this to the 90s nostalgia, the people that loved the originals or whatever like that, like we're a little bit more intelligent as far as than that.
Oh, I should mention there's some action in the chat. It's been going a little bit. Some talk of Don Cheadle apparently being in interviews and not looking very thrilled to be promoting this film. Speaking of the whispering and the hearing of characters in the audience and things like that, Kyle says he's sure Sonequa Martin Green was loud whispering everything urgently at LeBron. I think it's a Walking Dead reference. Mm-hmm. Also from Kyle, Don Cheadle's character was probably worried if he copied LeBron, he'd get a copyright strike from YouTube. Our good
James
friend
Entertainment
Alex,
would have right there.
Our good friend Alex Bonafonte has tuned in. What up, Alex? Thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. He says he didn't watch Space Jam 2, but he heard it was poopy, so spoil it away. Well, that is what we are here to do.
It wasn't poopy. Did a 4-year-old review it? That's
to Yali, maybe not so poopy.
I thought it was cute. It was what it was. I thought it was what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be cute. It's supposed to be stupid, and it's gonna make me buy the new LeBron Space Jam collab.
I'm gonna get them shoes.
The shoes look so cool. The shoes look so cool.
The gear is definitely. I'll get the gear. I'm like. So in that marketing, like literally that 2 hours of marketing campaign that you gave me, I bought into that. I bought into the.
I'm sold. I want it all, and I want Funko Pops. Give me those two.
My favorite part of that whole movie literally was probably like the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Freeze in the robe in the crowd. That was probably
who wasn't Arnold.
Who wasn't Arnold?
Trying to sound like Arnold.
With the DeVito penguin that wasn't DeVito. Or the
there was a Catwoman, there was a Robin, there was
like Robin.
The Game of Thrones cast.
Pennywise was there.
But that's like,
some version of Alice in Wonderland.
If that isn't a fucking sign of a bad movie, you're like, man, I was looking in the bleachers and I saw this guy, and I saw this other guy, and over here was the guy from Teen Wolf who takes his dick out at the end of the movie.
He somehow made it back in the movies.
Yes, he got in this fucking movie.
But it's just like, and then even with, again, back to the motivation thing, it's just like, at no point in time did I ever feel like the son was kidnapped for LeBron to keep talking about, I got to get my son back. I got to get my son back. Or even at the end when the wife was like,
the scene was written so
go
awkwardly.
get her son
like,
back.
LeBron James
he was like,
is
okay.
LeBron James is like 6'9" and he's like 285 pounds of pure muscle.
Right.
He could probably kick the head off of anything. And like this guy, you know, makes his son disappear and he's gonna be that calm about it. Like that whole scene was written so awkwardly.
But also if they're in a world, the game is like literally surrounded by superheroes. At one point, does the mom not go,
Ayo, Soup, can you
do you think you could help get my son back? Or even when like they insulted King Kong, like, don't you want to get revenge on that guy who just insulted you? Like, and also grab my kid while you're at it. Like,
yeah, but it's like he even said, Algie said, like, yo, if he loses, y'all are all stuck. So it's
and no one was like,
it's not I gotta get my son back. It's like, no, we all have to get out of here.
Exactly.
Michael B. Jordan didn't seem concerned about having to be stuck there. So he just wanted more popcorn.
He had to go get more popcorn. He dropped his popcorn.
He's like, I'm just here to remind you guys, I'll be directing the next Creed installment as well as starring in it.
Right.
So stay tuned.
So
I don't think anybody.
I'll be here for that.
I think that was something that I don't think anybody really knew. I think the announcers kind of like mentioned it at one point. They're like, we got to get home or whatever like that. So, but like the regular fans that were cheering, they like obviously if they knew that this game depended on their lives, I think they would be.
But like, LeBron's wife knew. Why wasn't she alerting people like, yo, it's not an event. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we're stuck.
We're stuck here. Like,
it was only a family conversation.
They could have did more. Why they put it all on LeBron's shoulders is a disservice to LeBron. Like, what happened to teamwork and family? Vin Diesel would have had his whole everyone would have got out of there. Everyone would have got out.
It's truly about family. Family gets you out.
Exactly. That's what this movie. I guarantee you, Space Jam 3 will have Vin Diesel and not The Rock.
But I was just about to say they're talking about it being The Rock.
But what is The Rock gonna do? Wrestle?
That's literally what they're saying. It's like they said it's on the table. That
it
like
needs to be
the
off
Rock,
the table.
You know, like the Rock's like Russell went to movies, comes back sporadically.
What would it be? Space Slam?
Space Slam?
bleep that out so you can sell that.
You have John Cena too.
Probably.
And you know what you're gonna get, Chris? A cameo from the man, the immortal Hulk Hogan.
No, I don't think so.
No, we need Ric Flair. I want
him and the Three Ninjas. Him and the Three Ninjas.
Yeah, Ric Flair will be there.
Three Ninjas are gonna be there.
They're gonna show up and help.
I want Jesse the Body commentating in Space Slam.
I would be into that. I would be into that. Dude, oh my god! Like, listen, you make Space Slam. Like,
welcome to the Space
my
Slam.
hype level is just
I'm convinced that's what that's going to be called if this happens. You kind of have no choice at this point but to call it that.
So it wouldn't have LeBron, or LeBron would just have like a producer credit.
He's gonna produce it for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
the Clutch Sports. That's how he gets in.
Are we surprised that Drake wasn't on the soundtrack for Space Jam 2? Because I was.
Good.
But they're like best fucking friends. I was like, why is he not on soundtrack?
I didn't really have soundtrack predictions. I was not expecting the Notorious P.I.G. reference.
I love that scene.
That was one of my favorites.
That scene was cool.
I was like, I'm stealing that for a mashup. Like
that scene was cute, and he had bars, and then he got like so many points for it too. So I was like, oh, okay. What if we just change it to a rap battle and get points quicker? Like they should have just kept switching out people because they were doing better with the rap. It wasn't
truly a battle because nobody on the Goon Squad ever battled.
But here's the fucking funny part. I'm watching that scene and I'm thinking in my head, like, this is a little awkward thing in this scene. And then my roommate's girlfriend just says, like, she just says exactly what's on my mind. She's like, he's not wearing any pants. And then my roommate, you know, in defense of the film, he's a cartoon. Like he gets all offended by that remark. Like he's a cartoon. He doesn't need pants. And then we're like, I'm pretty sure he had pants or shorts.
He did wear shorts. He did have shorts on.
When he didn't have shoes. He had shorts on.
But not when he battle rapped.
Yeah, when he battled, he definitely didn't have pants.
He had no pants.
He definitely went commando. And maybe that's the mashup.
He rocked two mics.
Double entendre. Don't ask.
There was the glitch.
Oh my god!
Step back between the legs.
Right.
And
Oh my god!
Yes.
That was bad.
Crossover.
That was bad.
That was bad. That was really
No.
bad.
I did like how they didn't cop out and like have him get undeleted right there in the same moment, because I just knew that that's what was gonna happen. Like when he was fading away, I just knew something was gonna happen. He was gonna be okay, but they went through with it, and I was like, oh, cool. Like,
You know, I thought Bugs Bunny honestly
Consequences.
was gonna legit die. I was like, they're killing Bugs Bunny. This is the movie. This is like the death of Superman. And they just tricked us by calling it Space Jam 2. What a creative move. You know?
Right.
Oh, no, never mind.
all that to retire Bugs Bunny.
Oh my
Yeah,
god!
I was like, they had to wave this fake flag of Pepe Le Pew. They don't give a shit about Pepe Le Pew. They just want to kill Bugs Bunny. No, okay, now I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, he did get kicked out of that movie. He
But
got
yeah,
me
that
too.
was
He
an
got me
interesting
too.
thing.
Yeah, he got me too.
Yes, Pepe Le
Me
Pew
too.
got me letude.
Ridiculous. It's a cartoon, people.
You know,
It's a
I honestly,
cartoon.
here's my thought on it. I thought they never had any intention of putting Pepe Le Pew in, but
Yeah,
then
he
they made this
wasn't
story
making
out like
stuff
as if he
up.
was in the movie and they rewrote the movie to take him out. Like, no,
Right.
he
Yeah.
was never in that fucking
The writers
movie.
are like,
at
damn
no
it.
at no point can I pinpoint the points. Oh, that's what they had to edit this scene.
You know, the one point when they were like talking about the in and out step back crossover getting deleted thing, I was like, oh, they're gonna bring in Pepe for this scene. Pepe
To
Le
get
Pew's gonna step back crossover alt delete.
Let
And I was like, that would be great. Like that would be fucking awesome. Like, you know, anything with this, you know, this
that would
movie
have
was
been hilarious.
The
I
movie
feel
stunk enough. They didn't need Pepe Le Pew.
Another one. That would have been
Oh
hilarious.
my god! That's
oh my gosh. Yeah, well,
Poor
what can
Pepe.
you do, right?
did anyone expect for them to like try to like make the secret stuff or the special stuff in the bottle? Like,
Yeah.
I want someone to go
At
like,
halftime?
we
Oh,
tried the
yeah.
secret stuff that worked last time, and no
Yeah.
one was like. They all
Yeah.
act like they never Space Jam before.
I hated that too. 'Cause, like,
I was like, you know, you Space Jam before. Why are you acting like you did? Lola remembers. Like, I know Lola. You remember, don't you? Like,
yeah.
she just like said, basketball is my life. I said, because you Space Jammed, right? That's why.
Yeah.
Right?
I hated that too, because it's like they didn't know if they wanted to like stand on their own or be the sequel to 2. And it's just like it was a weird mix. Because I remember when they were like doing promotion for it, they were saying like, this is not a sequel. This is not a sequel. Like,
We
the
just called it
it's
Space
a
Jam 2.
continuation of the universe and blah blah.
Don't
Like,
call
they
it a
just-
comeback.
Right. They just kept trying to be like, no, it's not a direct sequel. It's like set in the same blah blah blah, all that blah. But it's just like they made several Space Jam 1 references. Like
I
when
love
Sylvester
that, like-
was just like, I haven't seen him in 25 years. I
Right?
just thought he
Like,
aged gracefully.
right?
I love the PR gymnastics that, like, you know, studios do. Like, this is not a sequel. It's not. We just put the 2 in it because this is 2 times as good as
It's,
the
it's
old.
Space Jam as well. Like,
No,
that's-
technically it's Space Jam: A New Legacy. So
right.
But
that
You're
still
right.
means
yeah.
you acknowledge there was an old legacy
You're right.
before it. So we
But
need.
I also feel like, you know, like the Toon Squad, I mean, like, you know, Bugs Bunny would have been like, hey, LeBron, we've done this before.
Right, like,
Yeah, right.
When LeBron was like, we got to play like this, whatever, like that. Like,
the
yo,
Monstars were even there, but
We
like the
won.
little
We
tiny
won.
Oh, yeah, the
versions of
little
themselves, they
Yeah.
were there. Why did they go?
You
Like,
peep that it was the same exact scene from Space Jam.
yes, they just copied
And it
it
just
and
plugged
pasted
them
right
in
there.
control, copy.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, oh, are they gonna ask him to come play? Like, just like no. I was like, oh, okay.
I'm gonna just say what everyone else is thinking. Wile E. Coyote put that team on his back.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
He was the
Absolutely.
MVP of that
multi-ball,
game.
that multi-ball one, it was like that won him the game.
He did that. He had the bomb ball.
The
He had
bomb
the
one.
painting. They got the bird trapped up. He was doing everything. He
And
was all over
Granny,
the court.
Granny came in at the
Oh, yeah,
clutch.
Granny.
Granny
Yep.
came in at the clutch.
Granny came in.
Speedy did nothing, which
He
is,
did absolutely nothing.
and I
Yeah.
feel like that was racist. I'm just gonna call it out now.
Yeah. Well,
I
but he
feel like-
did get more camera time than he did in the first one, though.
very, very.
Speedy
Still-
did get.
It was racist then. It's just more racist now. It's just more racist now. I was like, so he gonna play or
Is racist a new legacy?
racist a
Gotcha.
new
I
legacy?
got you.
And at
Dude, I
one
mean,
point,
dude-
I swear to God, I thought he called Tweety a bendeja. I was like, what the?
I did.
Like-
He didn't he? I think
he called her you heard it too, right?
I heard him say something.
It sounded like he called her a bit. Oh, Tweety's a boy. I'm sorry.
I was about to say.
Like he's saying Tweety's a transgender icon. Anyway,
there you go. Gender fluid
icon. But at one point he said something to Tweety, and it was like something look out Bendeja or something like that.
I know what part
and
you're
I was like,
about.
Did he just curse at Tweety? Like,
I think he did. I heard some. I remember like kind of like but it might have been my sleepy haze at that point.
I think I might know.
Tweety was cursing people out.
Can we talk about how they try to like brush past the fact that Tweety was eaten by Sylvester 25 years ago? Just living in his stomach.
Yeah, because Tweety was like, "What year is it? What year?"
and then Speedy was like, "It smells so bad." Like, when did that happen? When did Sylvester eat Tweety?
I don't remember that in Space Jam 1. I feel like there's just, a couple things. I could have used a little Bill Murray this time.
No, I was so sad he wasn't in it. He was the best part of Space Jam. He really was.
He really was, right?
You didn't get that. And that's another thing too. Like you didn't have okay, fine. LeBron is the main actor, whatever the case may be, but you don't, I thought like the performances by, the kid, Dom, I don't think he didn't really add anything to this. And I feel like you needed somebody strong. And I guess they were banking on the Don Cheadle thing. But when you give Don Cheadle that kind of script, what can he do with it?
Yeah.
At that point.
He knew the assignment. I think he knew the assignment. It just wasn't a good assignment.
Yeah.
It's a cute one.
The one part, I will say, the line of the movie for me was when they were sitting down after he like cussed out the kid. And Don Cheadle fell off the butt.
He was like,
let's all slide down so we can all sit on the bench. That was like the funniest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, there was some funny part. Like I said, like I did laugh more again during the game when you saw like that part. But like I said, the whole first hour, I was literally like.
So Foghorn Leghorn being Daenerys Targaryen wasn't it for you? Like with the wig and everything? Like I said Dracarys. And the next, shh. Like that didn't do it, or what's Elmer Fudd as Mini-Me?
No, because I hate the movie anyway. So
I was wondering about. At a certain point too, watching it. It's funny you bring up the Mini-Me thing. At a certain point, my roommate and I turned to each other like, "Do you think kids get these references?"
No, because it wasn't for them. It wasn't for them.
Not
so being that it wasn't for them. I feel like the movie could have had some more edge, like a little bit more teeth in the comedy. Like get the Lego movie writers to like throw some humor in here,
Yeah, facts.
Something.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yeah, like you're right. Like if it was geared towards us or whatever, they're literally like the whole first hour is like us, and the whole second hour is the kids because the kids get the game and they can see that whatever the case may be. But the first half was basically that setup of the different where the Looney Tunes were and the different cameos and different everything. So it was geared towards us more.
They glossed over how he convinced them all to leave too. That was kind of like, he made them leave.
Well, Wonder Woman gave Lola permission.
Well, yeah. No, I meant when Bugs was saying, when Bugs was telling the story about how everybody abandoned him.
Oh yeah, like
they didn't really explain.
You can do better.
Yeah, it was just, you don't got a place you've been your whole life.
Well, the only one who was actually doing better was Foghorn Leghorn and Lola. They were the only ones who were doing better.
Pretty much.
She's with the Amazons.
I feel like this movie kind of went around what it was supposed to be, and I've been seeing that a lot from movies lately. And I think Matt, you were saying this before that like. It's not a Looney Tunes movie like the first one was. It's a LeBron movie, and being that it had to go through some Looney Tunes, but it's like they weren't that interested in doing that. And I feel like that's why it took so long to get to that part of the movie. Yep. And I feel like that's why they had to go through Casablanca and Austin Powers and every other thing Warner Brothers could possibly let them, have the rights to.
Even the Fury Road, like.
Yeah,
I like that part. I like that part.
But it was unexpected. And it's, again, you're invoking things that like, oh, maybe we'll just go watch that movie.
I would love to see Foghorn Leghorn as Daenerys for all 6 seasons. Absolutely. With the wig and everything.
Just redo Game of Thrones.
Just with him, like, oh God.
It would be a better, I never seen Game of Thrones, so whatever, don't come at me. But I'm like, but those kind of little movies that you say, I would love a whole hour of Super Duck. I'm like, I'll watch that. I'm like, it's
Super Duck was also the villain because he trapped everyone on this train. Like,
but that's what Daffy does. Daffy does that.
I wouldn't mind just Warner Brothers and DC, like those, like superhero jam or whatever.
Yeah.
Like even if it was all animated, like that would seemingly be a lot more fun than what we got. But it is about time to wrap it up. Unfortunately, our hour is almost upon us. Is there anything else that we would get in here? Any hot takes? Do you want to see like Gemini Jam with the cast of American Gladiators or Malibu Jam?
I'm all up. Sign me up for that.
Space Slam.
Space Slam.
Space Slam does sound cool. I want Fast and Furious Slam.
Oh, I would love that too.
But like with the like when they had like the wacky racers thing.
But it's universal.
That's what I want.
Show.
Fast and Furious Dom racing like Penelope Pit Stop and all that. Like that's the movie.
That would be a true crossover because you have Universal and WB. They would have to be like, oh, we're good with this.
Yeah, and also you can throw in Speed Racer. You can throw in Speed Racer in there too if you want. Like I want like a race car thing with Vin Diesel and the fam. And so they have to take Vin Diesel's fam, obviously, for him to do the race. But I think it'd be great, and then we'll have a lot of Pitbull on the soundtrack. So
the soundtrack would be hot, and you can bring back Paul Walker animated form.
Boom!
Oh, that just put in my heartstrings. I would like to offer praise to the true star of Space Jam 2, the writer that inserted the line that LeBron said, "Oh, acting and." What did he say? He said athletes and acting. It never works out.
Oh, yeah.
And then he went on to give us this. So.
Gotta love the little wink winks. Gotta love the little wink winks in there. And speaking of, someone in the chat actually puts it more eloquently than I could. Our good friend Dustin Nino from Retro Fiend Radio says, I feel it's difficult to pull off animation and live action movies together. There's more unsuccessful ones than there are successful ones. It's either Roger Rabbit or it's Cool World. I think we all know which one of those we got. And I think it would maybe even be insulting to Cool World to compare Space Jam 2 to Cool World. I love Cool World.
We're just gonna act like Paddington don't exist.
What is bed something and broomsticks, bed knocks and broomsticks.
But it all, also reminds me of Cartoon All Stars to the Rescue, where a bunch of your favorite cartoons of the 80s and 90s team up to get someone off drugs, and it's very anticlimactic. And at the end, you just want some drugs.
I remember those.
But at any rate,
the Ninja Turtles VHS. There was one of those right before.
It was the movie something like that. Yeah, it was something along those lines. Other than that, guys, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Fandom Spotlite, Hollow 9 Network, Pop Culture Punk. Tune in next Wednesday, of course, or this Wednesday, I should say. This Wednesday at 9 p.m. as we attempt to go full plaid at ludicrous speed in order to resurrect the Spaceballs franchise on VCR Redo. Other than that, back up those Betamax, rewind those Laserdiscs, and we'll see you at the movies.
And follow your fandom.
And freeze frame.
You're still moving.